Hi, my name is Jocelyn Hurley, and this is for week 5 of our public law discussions. So, the prompt this week was talking about due process and why it's so crucial when it comes to defending that you're not a terrorist and you're not here illegally. So, due process is a part of the Constitution, it's a part of the 14th Amendment, and it amplifies the right to life, liberty, and property, which is in the Bill of Rights. It's the fundamental part of our country. And due process has basically 3 main aspects to it, where you get the notice that you have done something illegal or you're accused of doing that. You get the opportunity to be heard by an impartial jury or a judge, and then the judgment, which is impartial. Which are these procedural protections? So that you can prep for the trial, have fair representation, have impartial jury, and so that you can prep for it. So for proving that you're not a terrorist, I think that due process is very important because ever since 9/11, the war on terror, it's been so, I don't know what the word is for it, but there's been a lot of name calling and name throwing out there when it comes to whether or not this group is a terrorist group or this person is a terrorist. And that's a big accusation. That is a very detrimental part to your reputation if you get accused of that. So I think every person, regardless of if you're accused of something like that, should be allowed to present evidence, hear what the other side is saying about you, and then being able to rebuttal it and say, I didn't do this, here's X, Y, and Z as to how I couldn't have done this. So due process is important because you have to have a chance to defend yourself. Being just put away in one of these prisons is, it's just not how this country works. It's not what this country was built on. You have to have the opportunity to fight for your name and fight for everything that you stand for. It's similar for defending that you're legally allowed to be here, because I personally think that you should peacefully be notified about your status, legal status, by a simple letter or even a person coming to your door and notifying you, like, hey, the government thinks you're here illegally. You have X amount of time to get your papers together and prove that you are here legally, so we don't have to go further down the steps. I personally think that detainment and aggressiveness is not how we solve the problem, because if you come off as just arresting someone because you think they're here illegally, they can't do anything with that. They can't prove themselves otherwise. They don't have the opportunity because they're just immediately in jail, and then they can be just deported. So they had no opportunity to prove otherwise. Especially because these government documents take so long to retrieve because the bureaucracy works really slowly. So you have to be given that time to get your documents together. Find a lawyer, because a lot of people, especially lower class, don't have immediate access to lawyers. They just have to get the free one that you are entitled to, and a public defender. And that takes time. It takes a process to meet with your lawyer, get those documents in order, and plan the trial. And if that person is just in jail or is already deported, it adds so much more depth to the situation in order to get them out of jail, and then to even get them back in the country, especially right now with border control. It's incredibly chaotic. So overall, I think due process is incredibly crucial because it forces the government to be accountable for and justify their actions legally, rather than acting irrationally. It gives them a legal foundation to act this way. Even, let's say that they say you're a terrorist, and then after the trial they were able to prove that you were a terrorist. Then they can legally say, okay, you are a terrorist, therefore you go to jail. But at least they did it legally with a fair trial. which makes the process therefore right. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Yeah.